back to another episode of Skyrim Marathon. Today we got Nordic Souls PBR edition. This is going to be version 1.3.1, which released on May 20th. We're going to go over a little bit about what Nordic Souls PBR version is, or PBR edition is. So I got a little bit of a write-up here. I'm just going to read it to you. So Nordic Souls PBR is a visual focused variant of Nordic Souls that pushes graphical fidelity through community shaders, high quality assets, and extensive PBR materials instead of relying on ENB presets. Alongside the visual upgrades, it incorporates a variety of immersion and quality of life features designed to make the world feel more engaging and responsive. The overall goal is to capture the version of Skyrim many players remember from their first adventures through Tamriel, not necessarily how the game actually looked in 2011, but how it felt. Beneath the graphical improvements, the list remains rooted in Nordic Souls' core philosophy, combining SimonRim-based gameplay, meaningful content additions, and strong performance into a modernized Skyrim experience that still feels unmistakably like Skyrim rather than a completely different game. So that's the whole spiel about Nordic Souls PBR. I'm also gonna put the system requirements, recommended requirements on the screen, but it's the typical ones you usually see, which is like a 4070 recommended for 2K. And so if you're going up to 4K, you gotta just kind of guess what the step up is. Again, we play at 4K at a 9070 XT today. So that's what you're gonna be watching. So gauge performance according to that. There is community shaders on this list, so you do have flexibility with frame gen and upscaling, and as I've shown in other videos, and I expect it to be the case for this one, upscaling is going to be pretty seamless, especially if you go down the quality upscaling. So we'll play around with that a little bit on the video and see. I went through the MO2, so this list doesn't have a stance system. It is kind of a vanilla plus list. It also doesn't have MCO or BFCO. There are 1,580 mods at play here. We got Blood framework done by Sanguine Symphony. We got Dismembering framework. We got FP Inertia for a little bit of immersion on the first person combat, where you have a little bit more sway to your weapons when you're moving around. You do have quick loot on here, so it's going to be interesting to see how that performs. Let's see here. We have Core Impact Framework, and that's pretty much it. Again, there's 1,580 mods. I probably skipped over quite a bit that maybe you find noteworthy, so definitely look up their load order online as well. There's some links to kind of get you in the right direction in the description, along with the mod list author Q&A as usual, if you kind of want to get a feel for what the mod list authors are saying about this list. Now, there are 3 mod list authors for this list. Of course, one is Geborgen, and that guy is the original Nordic Souls author. And then the 2 other authors are the ones that kind of did this fork of PBR edition, which is Scrubby Scrub in a Shrub and Meteor. So yeah, so there are 3 people at play here. We're gonna go ahead and start a new character. It does say continue. Interesting enough, it remembered my gameplay that I did on the Nordic Souls review, and I had my save file from there. We're not gonna play that today though. We're gonna create a new character. So the UI, if I'm not mistaken, is untarnished UI. I didn't go into the I didn't go into the MO2 to confirm that. But I mean, it's usually it's untarnished or Dragonborn UI that kind of looks this way. I believe it's untarnished though, because I believe that's what the regular Nordic Souls use. Now, again, this is supposed to be basically, they're trying not to touch. They're touching the visuals for the most part, but they're trying to keep Nordic Souls and basically the true essence of vanilla Skyrim at the forefront of their vision here. So as you can see, the starting room is the same as Nordic Souls, but because essentially this is Nordic Souls still. This is not a different list, it's just a variation or a fork of Nordic Souls. This is actually one of my favorite starting rooms. I like to see a little bit of a change up once in a while for the starting room instead of that usual in room. And then also, I just forgot to mention, I have the control mapping, Nordic Souls control map mod enabled on here so I can play with a controller. So I'm going to get my controller and play with that. 1 second. All right. Well, let's get through the character creator first, and then I'll switch to controller. So races. Let's look and see if, first of all, if they have presets. Okay, so there seems to be kind of a standard preset here. So it only has these options. So let's see how this looks. A female Altmer. So if we go to female Altmer, preset. Okay. So it looks like they took the time to go through and actually make a custom preset that, I mean, doesn't, I'm not quite my style, but you know, it looks done up a little bit. We got Bosmer. So what is that? Wood Elf. A lot of work went into sorry, I pressed the wrong one. Went into making the female presets here. Okay, we're just gonna look at like one more preset, and then we're just gonna go ahead and create a character. We'll see what a Nord looks like. Okay, yeah, not a bad looking preset at all. But I usually like making male characters, so we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with I don't make orcs too often. Let's go with an orc. Just take a look at some standard presets here. Okay, I guess that'll do. Let's take a look at some hairstyles. Okay, well, maybe we'll adjust the... see the eye shapes. Okay, we'll go with that one. We'll go with no facial hair. And eye color. Well, that looks pretty good. Okay, we'll go with that eye color. And then we're gonna go with a little bit more weight to him. He is an orc after all. And then maybe a dark skin for the orc. Okay, done. Let's name him. Yeah. Let's name him. We're gonna name him Peter. Peter the orc. He looks like Peter. Okay, so got the controller here. Configuration complete. That was really quick. So right off the bat, I can tell you the graphics, at least in this room, look really good. Book of Origin just sitting there. That's pretty cool. I like this backstory. Yeah, he looks cool. I like him. So, because there's Wheeler on here, and there's a custom control mapping for Nordic Souls that I enabled, some things got shifted around. So, like, B is to pull up Wheeler. And then to wait, it's down on the D-pad. And then what usually is the start button on the Xbox controller, or select button I should say, actually pulls up the tween menu. So it takes a little bit of getting used to if you're used to playing with default controls. Alright, let's get started.
Child, and choose where your new life shall begin.
Alright, so we're gonna... Yeah, Orcish Stronghold, why not, right? That makes sense. Let's do that.
May your axe always strike true.
Yeah, I like that starting room more than the inn starting room for sure. Alright, so just gonna give you guys the rundown, okay? So I went ahead and took off upscaling. I took it down to native AA, and then I took off frame gen. So you have those options at your disposal, of course, but for testing purposes, I took it off. The one of the modless authors told me to toggle this option. Where is it? This one here. Earlier, because he said it just doesn't look right without it on. But I can tell you right now, my performance tanked when I did that. So let's see if that was the cause of it, or if it's just a coincidence. So I'm at 34 FPS now. Now it doesn't ship with that enabled, so that's why I'm kind of debating if I should turn that off. Because we're getting 34 FPS right now. See, I gotta get used to trying to get this tween menu. Okay, so I want to add this item. To the Wheeler. How do you do that? Yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to here. You know what? We're just gonna use the favorites bar, because that's usually the best way for me to play with a controller. When you start throwing wheeler in the controller layout, sometimes it gets a little bit difficult. At least for me it does. Alright, so let's take a look at the visuals. What do we think of the visuals so far? I can tell you right now, performance had gone up since I disabled that thing. Yeah, he looks good. Let's see. The armors look good. They also have that that map that I like too. I believe that's the same map as the one I liked from Wanderer's Way. Let's see, like the detail on the map, like these certain buildings being where they are. They should match up. If it is right, it should match up one for one with yeah, look at that. These little buildings here are Riverwood. It should match up with what's actually in the world. So anyways, let's go ahead and look at the map. Here's where we are. I like how the map doesn't show you anything about where you are. So you kind of have to be familiar with how Skyrim's map is, or you're going to be kind of lost. So like Riften, everyone knows Riften's over here, right? But it's cool because the map has so much detail to it that if you're playing the Skyrim for the first time, or if you haven't played in a while, if you just look at the details of it, you can see there's a town or city there. But anyways, we're closest to Markarth. Markarth is right here, if I'm not mistaken. So we're gonna head that way. We're gonna start 2-hour timer. 2-hour timer. Alright, so let's go ahead and give it a shot and see what this list is made of. For those of you watching this series for the first time, we do these 2-hour tests uninterrupted to test out and give a rating for 5 key areas. So performance, combat, UI, visuals, and stability. We do 2 hours because that was kind of based around this wolf wants to fight. Around the time that Steam gives you to return a game if you buy a game from Steam. Take his head right off. Combat feels good. I'm pretty sure this is like a comprehensive first-person animation overhaul. I don't think this is vanilla first-person combat. If I am mistaken, I'm sorry. Go ahead and leave that in the comments if you're the developer or the modless author. I can also tell that the sound effects are louder than usual and are a little bit more prominent. Okay, I'm gonna restart the game real quick because I want to take off the control mapping because I'm not going to use Wheeler and it's throwing me off with everything else, but that's not going to cause any rating issues for the game or the list. And it's only going to cost you 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Actually, I restarted the game twice because I was trying to locate the D menu hotkey so that I can change the hotkey for Wheeler. Essentially, Wheeler, when I took off the Nordic Souls control mapping, there was still Wheeler via D menu programmed to the left trigger button on the controller, and so therefore, like when I try to block a wheeler would come up. It was very frustrating. So when you open up the hotkey reminders, it says that D menu is supposed to be the home button, but I'm mashing the home button right now and nothing's happening. It said that the key was key 199. I'm not sure what key that was, but I went ahead into the D menu and changed it to like key 13, which is like the equal symbol or something along there. And even that doesn't pull up D menu. So I don't know what's going on with D menu, but essentially I think the only way I can proceed with this without going insane is to just switch back to mouse and keyboard for their playthrough. If you are watching this and you are the modless author, you might want to look into the D menu situation and see if it's just isolated to me only, or if that's something that is happening on your end as well. Alright, let's go ahead. So mouse and keyboard, and we're just gonna use the favorites menu for now. Let's see here. Now, Nordic Souls usually isn't something that you play with survival on, so that's ticked off. So we're gonna keep it that way. And we're gonna continue on our plan to head towards Markarth. So there isn't a paraglider system in this game, but there is parkour, sky parkour. For those of you that use that. So if you want to see also the animations for swinging, for third person, that's the axe, one-handed axe animation. What I'm noticing too, I'm not sure, I don't remember it being something in the regular Nordic Souls, but it seems like your animations for swinging slow down as your stamina decreases. Another immersion thing, some of you might like it, some of you might not like it, but that's just something you should be aware of in this game. Now, I don't know if there's a setting you can use to adjust that to your liking, or if you just kind of got to deal with it. Okay, resuming the timer. We have an hour and 57 minutes left. I don't recognize this. What is this? Wait a minute. Markarth's over here. We just went into a bandit camp. Bandit base. I know that area now. Alright, let's get out of here. That's not where we want to go, especially at level 1. The graphics look really good. The water looks good. The performance is on the rougher side, but I guess, you know, if it's graphically demanding, that's your reasoning right there. It'd be interesting to see how the quick loot holds up with the compass. Got away just in time. Yeah, I can't take those guys down. Not, at least not 2 versus 1. Okay, yeah, I'm facing the wrong way. I gotta turn around. I am so turned around right now. Okay, let's see here. I gotta go right and then left. Past them, essentially. And it looks like my stamina is really hurting. It's making it hard to even run a little while. My weight's not too high. Okay, it looks like the aggro's off of me though, so that's good. Alright, now we're on track. Yeah, the frame rate's pretty rough. I mean, I think if I turn it to quality, let's see how that improves. Oh wow, it's like night and day. I'm like 60 FPS now, 65 FPS on quality. It's a totally different situation now. It was at 39 before quality mode, and I can tell you right now, especially with community shaders, upscaling, it's unnoticeable. I bet you if I started playing this list with quality on, I don't think you would have noticed that I had an upscaler on. So that's pretty interesting to have at your disposal. I mean, that's a huge plus with community shaders. Alright, we gotta get ready to kill this Forsworn guy. Okay, we got blood pool framework, which is nice to see. And we're getting 80 FPS for a moment there. 70 now. 68. Okay, so leave that at your disposal. If you like to play things natural without any upscaler, you have to have the hardware for it, or you're gonna have to just deal with it. Because I mean, look at it. It says right at 0.67%, 6.67. Basically resolution is what it's playing at, which is why it's getting good frames. So if I go 1x, which is no upscaling, you know, then we're back at the territory we normally see on these reviews. 47, 48 FPS. Alright, we're gonna look at the Temple of Talos. Let's see what the interior lighting looks like on this list, huh? So I can tell you right now, there's a lot of extra lighting in here, which is causing not a lot of dark areas. Like, usually one or the other is out on some of these corners for the lights. And usually there's not a light here, if I remember correctly. So there's a lot more lighting in this room than there usually is. Also, like I mentioned earlier, I think there's a lot of enhancements to the audio in the list. I haven't looked. I know I said I would try to, but I just forgot because it's not deeply ingrained in me yet. But I haven't looked into the audio overhauls as far as the music choices. So we're gonna just listen together and see if it sounds vanilla or not. From just memory alone, the combat I was in earlier with those Forsworn outside, that was vanilla audio for combat, I believe. And seeing as this list tries to go with as vanilla as possible, I have a feeling that the soundtrack is a vanilla soundtrack. But we'll keep an ear out for it. I do want to say though that audio overhaul is done on the weapons. There, I can hear a different impact, like with the shield, for example. These weapon swings, not so much right now. But I think there is something going on with the audio there. The NPC looks pretty good. This NPC, she looks alright, I guess. This guard looks pretty good. We got the vanilla style wait timer here. We're gonna see how night looks a little bit, and then we're gonna go back to daytime. So this is the sky at night. And okay, I like that. You see that water reflection with the lighting going against it? That's pretty cool. I wonder if that's from the torches. Okay, so lighting outside looks really good. I like how the torch is lighting up just those areas. Otherwise, it's dark, you know? I think I had torches on me too, right? Yeah, I do. Okay. Okay, we don't have all the time in the world, so let's go ahead and... Sorry, I'm about to sneeze. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of Markarth in the day as the sun's coming up. Honestly, this is the best time of day to be in this area in Markarth. The scenery is the nicest. This area is pretty shady most of the time. But yeah, the sun looks good right here at this angle. I usually always take shots over here because I like the way the sun hits this little corridor.
Come on in. The Silverblood Inn has plenty of strong drink.
Okay, interior lighting. Yeah, interior lighting seems to have a lot of unnatural light that's illuminating the room. At least that's what it's coming off as. That or there's just more lighting fixtures placed. But I don't see like dark corners of the room anywhere. There's no like dark corners. Everything's kind of well lit, which is kind of odd. I mean, still light years beyond Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert's lighting interior inside is just terrible. But yeah, I think it could do with dimmer lighting and dark spots. So it looks like there's too many lighting nodes in the room that's lighting it up. In my opinion, again, I'm not a professional or anything, but that's just, you know, based off of my experience playing different lists. It seems like that's what's going on here. Alright, so we're gonna go and let's see which way we're gonna go today. Let's go clockwise. Head to Dragon Bridge, which off of memory, or also off of just looking here. Where's the Dragon Bridge? There's a bridge there. I think it's this here. So we're gonna head that way. Man, optical illusion. I swear I just ran by a horse right here. I must have just been imagining it. So far the LODs look okay. I don't see anything too jarring. I'm gonna try to turn on that setting. Okay, I'm at 36 FPS. I'm gonna turn on that setting the modless author told me to do earlier one more time and see if it caused any issues. Okay, so that one there. Yeah, now we're at 31 FPS, 32. So we lost about 4 FPS there. Alright, we got some action here. That's a bad situation I'm in. Let me get out of here. What the hell? Okay, bad combination of keys there. They can't hit me again. I'm gonna die. Get underwater, man. Please don't be a big drop. Please don't be a big drop. Okay. Yeah, we totally almost just died right there. They're still shooting at me. Oh yeah, look at that person. So persistent. Okay, you hear that music? I don't know if that music is vanilla now. It doesn't sound familiar to me. Maybe you guys recognize it. Look at that person, so persistent. Yeah, I'm not well versed enough to know the audio differences of what like all the different mods out there are. Or I'm not even like a diehard like follower of the vanilla soundtrack either. So all I can tell you is from just my recollection, and that track that was on earlier did not sound familiar. But maybe I just never noticed it before. Maybe it is vanilla. So, I would say this list's exterior lighting looks really good. Interior lighting, I think, could use some work. But exterior, day and night, seem to be on point. And when I say could use some work, I don't mean that in like a disrespectful way. I mean it in a way like I've seen people accomplish something more visually appealing. So I know it's possible. Yeah, this is a cool setting right here. I gotta take a picture of this. Alright, so that setting is on, they told me to put on, right? Now, if that setting is on, and I go to upscaling and go to general, how's everything running then? Okay, that might be a good middle ground. Now you might be asking, okay, what does that setting do, right? So I'll just read off of what he told me, a reason why, because I asked him what it does. It's denoising for the reflections. So apparently NVIDIA users can use DLSS that cleans up the noise quite well, but FSR can't do that, sadly, is what he said. So it's a denoiser for reflections. Okay, so let's see. The reflection of the water, for example. Or is it perhaps the armor? Okay, so I can see, like, I guess there's some noise. I guess if you really want to look at it, there's some noise on the armor. Reflections. Oh yeah, that cleans it up really well. Okay, I totally get what he means now. I get what he means. It cleans up the reflection noise. That's very true. That's a very true statement. That's definitely what it does. The armor was a good example. Now, if you want to see again real quick, this is the armor. And then I'm gonna turn that off. And you can see there's noise all over the armor. By noise meaning like there's a little bit of staticky imagery going on there. So if you have an FSR GPU, or basically an AMD GPU, pick that setting on and maybe mess with the upscaling to make up some of that FPS loss. Yeah, so I'm gonna play with that on, just because that seems to be what he intended. And then I'm gonna turn it back to native AA, and we're just gonna see how it performs, you know, at its best looking visual quality. I don't have any healing spells on this playthrough, by the way. And I doubt we'll come across a book very easily. So we need to find potions somehow. Do we have any money? 406 gold. Might be able to buy like a couple potions so that... Okay, there's bandits up ahead, I believe.
What's a milk drinker like you doing out here? Why? What are you gonna do? Cry? Gods, you're boring! Is someone there?
Yeah. Wait, me? No. Not me, right? Someone behind me? Oh, me? What? Attacking me? I thought you were gonna fight those bandits. Okay, wait. She is fighting the Forsworn. Oh my god, she totally killed her. Wait. Let me just take some of the loot real quick. Just leave me alone. Okay, I'm out of here. Oh no, I'm out of health. I'm out of stamina. I hate that you have to walk. Come on. I'm like speed walking away from this lady with an axe trying to kill me. I think I just got away. I can't believe it. Luckily, that person doesn't have a bow with them. Let's look at different armors. This is nice. It's a nice, I like the colors. It's a nice view. I can't believe we got away from that. Random book on the ground here. Maybe we can sell those. What are all these books doing here? There's like some librarian that died around here? So right off the bat, I think it goes without saying for the most part, but this list isn't meant to be like a cakewalk. It's not supposed to be super easy, especially running around the world just randomly at level 2, for example. You're gonna have some issues. I have to avoid a lot of combat just because I'm usually outmatched most of the time. Like that saber cat will probably kill me. Eventually we will have to die because we'll have to see if there's some type of death alternative. It was pretty interesting to see that my save somehow was still there from the first Nordic Souls I played. And I was able to load it too. Of course, there was like some ESPs that weren't there anymore. But like it loaded up, it didn't crash at all, which is very interesting. Alright, so we're at Dragon Bridge here. Let's take off this orcish helmet. It looks kind of weird with this outfit. It keeps clipping through the shield. Textures look really good. Let me take a look at the inn. Let's take a look at this guy's armor. This looks pretty cool.
What do you need?
I like the way his sword and his dagger is laid out on him. Nice placement.
Come on in. Just stoke the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out.
Yeah, let me know what you guys think. I think this interior is too bright. Like in an unnatural way. Like you can't account for where all the light is coming from because you can't see any dark spots.
Something different about faded. Let me know if you want anything. The meals I serve ain't what I'd call a Jarl's feast, but they'll fill your belly.
Alright, so that's Dragon Bridge basically. Now we're gonna head to Solitude. Again, I love this map here. This map scores major UI points in my reviews. And then I like the fact that these cities aren't marked for you already, so that's really cool too. That's a good compliment to this map, so that you have to kind of navigate based off of what you see, and what you see really is what you end up getting to, which is awesome. Because then you can kind of map out where you want to go if you're exploring, and you're like looking at the map closely. You're like, I think I see a structure over there, and then you can literally run there and see what the structure looks like, which is pretty awesome. Like this little hut right here, you can hardly see it when you're looking at the map, but if you're zooming in looking for something, you can find that. And that's something you don't really quite get with the flat world maps, or the vanilla map, for example. It doesn't really show all that. So I mean, that's a gold standard for maps, honestly, for these mod lists. Now the UI being untarnished UI, it's got a lot of usability. Like, you got a lot of options here on the tween menu. But it doesn't have much. I mean, the font is cool. This all has nice character. I like these little icons, all kind of animated, which is really cool. But like the stamina and the health bars and all that, they're just rectangles, you know, like they're just bars that are straight, like right angles on them. There's no design to it really, and so I'm not too much of a fan of that part of untarnished UI. The other aspects of it, like the font that they chose for this, for example, the items menu, probably the magic menu too, how it all has animated icons, I like that. I like that it's minimal too. I like that a lot of these things kind of fade into nothing after. That's kind of been more of my taste lately. Before, like on my previous reviews, I was into having like all this information on the screen, like your weight and how much gold you have. But like recently I've been more into minimal HUDs, so this is actually a good thing that all these aspects of it disappear when they're not changing. Okay, so let's look at the trees here. So it's a little pixelated up close. But from about like this distance, it looks really good.
If you've come to Solitude,
This plant looks good.
speak to Ricker. If not, just keep your nose clean while you.
So as you can see, I'm having a rough time with FPS, right? But as you can see, like, say for example, this guy looks really good. His armor looks nice and sharp. The textures look great. Now, let's go to quality. And let's take a look at the same area. Yeah. It all looks just as good. Everything looks exactly the same, except I'm getting 60 FPS. And I've got that thing on that denoises the reflections too. So if you're gonna play this list, maybe you can, perhaps you can forego the frame gen, but definitely use quality. If you're rocking similar hardware. My FPS is like doubling just from switching to quality, which is awesome. if EMB was to ever come up with a way to create that level of flexibility in its upscaling and frame gen, kind of like a toggle on its UI in the game, that'd be a huge game changer in its viability in the battle against, what if you want to call it a battle, and its comparison against EMB, against community shaders.
That her uncle is stunned to betrayed his high king. Bet she know now.
Otherwise, this game is pretty taxing on your hardware. But keep in mind, okay, so I rate it off of just raw performance every time. I have to at this point because I've done so many lists that way that I can't just play the whole review on quality upscaling. But take my score today on the performance as something with that in mind, because you should put it to it to quality. And even if you put it to quality and then throw a frame gen on there, from what I've experienced with community shaders frame gen, is that it's really good. Like, you don't see a lot of jitter with like the magic or the lighting. So you can get like over 100 FPS in 4K, have similar looking visuals, if not almost identical to the naked eye as what I'm looking at right now. So you don't have to suffer with this raw performance, honestly, if you were to play this list in the same scenario as I am with, you know, 4K and a 9070 XT. You can play the list at 100 FPS or more with frame gen and quality or balanced on. In fact, let's play around balance, okay?
Unless we have specific business. I'm not
Like, look at oh my god, that's a really nice like time of day to be taking a picture. Yeah, things look just as good with balanced on. Like, look at this fence. Okay, this fence has some pretty rough textures, but I can tell you right now, it's not because of my selection in going to FSR balance. Because if I go back to FSR AA only, the fence looks the same. Let's take a look at the interior lighting here. We got an hour and 16 minutes left. Now, seeing as most of these areas are vanilla, well, I spoke too soon. Like this right here, this is not vanilla. The whole room, the whole entry room is now combined with the main room. See how she has like a unique face? That is what I look for in good NPC
Then
selections.
we will immediately send out a legion to scour the cave and secure the town. Hafingar's people will always be safe under my rule. Your Eminence.
I mean, she's not very much of a looker, but she's got a unique looking face at least.
This is likely superstitious
This guy does too.
Perhaps a more tempered reaction might be called for.
Oh, yes, of course, you were right. Falk,
This
tell
guy's
Captain
face is
Owls I
unique.
said to assign a few extra
This
soldiers
guy's
to
face is
Dragon.
unique.
Thank you, Yar Elisif. But about
This
the cave,
person's face is unique.
I will have someone take care of the cave.
His face is unique. So, good selection in NPCs. Now, good selection doesn't mean that they're like all like looking like models. It just means that
get back to Dragon.
their face looks unique enough to maybe make you think
hello.
it looks like a
Just
real
tidying up.
person with their own personality and all that, versus just a regular NPC that's generic. So good selection of NPCs. Now let's see in this room how it looks at night to see if some of the lighting tapers off or if it still stays bright. Okay. So the lighting tapered off, which is great. Right? No daylight coming through the windows. So it takes that into account. But you still see like this overall lighting everywhere. You don't see like this dark corner anywhere where like you can hardly see what's in there. And I think that's what I mean for interior lighting being a little bit more accurate, a little bit more realistic, you know? Now, outside is a different story for some reason, and you can see outside's done well. You can see outside has, look at this, like look at this area right here. It's all dark because there's no lighting next to it. So I think you gotta just take somehow what you're doing outside and apply it to the same concept of lighting inside, and you should be seamless at least for your lighting. You see what I mean? Like everything's pitch black except for areas around the lights. Alright.
You wouldn't be a sellsword, would you? I have a little problem we need to solve. Forget about it.
Alright, we gotta get going. Because time is limited. I want to cover as much ground as possible. So we're gonna bypass Morthal today, just because I want to try hit as many major cities as possible on foot. So Morthal is kind of out of the way. So I might hit Dawnstar on the way to Winterhold, and then down to Windhelm, and that's kind of my plan here. We might have to COC to Whiterun at the end because it might run out of time, but we'll see. An hour and 12 minutes left. We're doing okay. Oh, what a nice time of day to catch this. This is right here. This is thumbnail quality right here. All the birds flying around. Really nice. This might even be like my wallpaper. This is such a nice little shot right here. Okay, I'm gonna do my usual. I'm starting to make it my usual jump off the bridge here. Not much of a splash there. Professional diver went in there without a splash. I think the audio is a little. Yeah, it's on full blast there. I'll turn that down a little. Yeah, I love the vibes from this dock. All right, we're gonna make our way to. This is right here. This is Dawnstar. I believe the little tower's right next to it, right? Yeah, all these buildings right here. Okay. Okay, good audio. I don't know, aside from that dive, it didn't make any sounds, but swimming in and out of water seems to be good. Now let's see if the swimming is dynamic. If I take off my clothes, will I start swimming differently? No. So like in Wanderer's Way, it's dynamic swimming, for example. So you use stronger swimming animations when you take your heavy armor off, or when you're swimming with light armor. And then when you're swimming with heavy armor, it's like this, where it looks like you're kind of struggling to swim. So far the list is very stable though. No crashes yet. Hopefully no crashes at all for the whole review. That'd be awesome. Yeah, the whole vibe, the lighting, everything outside is totally on point on this list. The visuals are like top notch. You know? Like down to the armor. Now that I put that setting on for the reflections too, like there's no noise on the armor reflections. The audio, the sound effects are really on point. Aside from the diving into the water, which I don't know if that could be helped at all. Maybe it's always like that. I have to double check with another list to see how that sounds. But it should have sounded like this, at least, jumping in the water. So this list does use weight in water, but it doesn't have the animation that shows you going slower in the water. But it does have weight in water where it slows you down as you're stepping in water, which is good. So as you can see, in typical Skyrim fashion, third person combat kind of leaves you wanting a little bit something more if you're into a third person combat. I think because this list tries to honor the original experience of Skyrim, it's meant to be played in first person. And I think that first person animations are good. So far from what I can see. Again, if it's comprehensive first-person animation overhaul, then it is... I kind of know what to expect for each animation. So the PBR edition of Nordic Souls has been around for as long as I can remember. I'm not sure exactly when it came out, but I've always been wanting to kind of try it out. Like with a lot of things in the Skyrim modding world, the longer you kind of wait, the better off you are though, because the more updates come out, the more refinement can take place before you get around to it. So I'm kind of glad I waited this long, because I'm pretty sure this is the best version of it that I could have played to date. If I had played this 3 months ago, I think it would have been a you know, a more flawed version of the list. Just like anything, you know, like I did Mages and Vikings, and that's gone through huge updates since I've done it. Now it probably would get a better score on the channel. And that's why, you know, I am going to be taking a break for a little while because I'm starting that new job. But when I come back, I might try to knock out a couple more lists. But after that, I think the next thing I'm doing is not, I'll do like brand new lists that come out, like how Wanderer's Way came out. But I'll kind of start focusing on Skyrim Marathon Redux, which is going to be, if you guys haven't heard me talk about it before, it's going to be me revisiting lists that I've reviewed already before after they've gone through a lot of time and updates and huge overhauls, or huge, you know, huge makeovers basically, or, you know, big revamps to the stability or performance or whatever you want to call it. Then I'll pick up those lists and I'll review them again. Or like major updates, like Lorem has a major update coming out in a couple of months. You got Elder Gleam. I haven't never reviewed the other one because I don't like reviewing lists that are older. I like reviewing stuff that has recent updates, so it's kind of like new, and you have the latest mods, at least considered when they're used to push the updates. So you're playing like cutting edge Skyrim. But Elder Gleam Ultimate, I'm gonna play that probably on this series. If I had reviewed V4, then I would have put it on the Redux series. But Lorem, for example, Mages and Vikings, those two I'm gonna let keep cooking, and I'll do that on the Redux series when I make that. 28 FPS, pretty rough right now. Take a look at an interior over here, and then we're gonna head towards Winterhold.
It's a curse. It has to be. I've got to get out of this town.
Irgmir, get a hold of yourself. They're just dreams. Please tell her, Erender.
Listen to your friends. They are just dreams, my dear. I assure you that it is quite normal.
It's the same dream over and over again. You think that's normal? It's evil, I tell you.
Erender, she has a point. You keep telling us no harm will follow these dreams, but they must be an omen.
Give him a chance to speak. He's trying to help us.
The NPCs look good. I like the selections in this list. Again, when I say look good, I mean they look like they have like unique facial characteristics. Alright, we're gonna make our way to Winterhold. We have an hour left, which is not bad. Covered quite a bit of ground, right? We basically started from here, and we went all the way around to here in that 1 hour. So let's keep up the pace. So if you guys could do me a favor too, because I can't always hear everything as far as updates go. But as I start to line up a list for the Redux series, you guys let me know when you find lists that I've reviewed on the channel have gone through like major updates. If you could like let me know, either join the Discord or let me know in the comment section somewhere for me to see it. Even commenting on the video where I reviewed it and letting me know there's an update, then I'll start making a list on the side of candidates for the Redux series. Look at that statue of Azura, it's so massive. The hell? Freaking Spriggan. Oh, come on. I'm going so slow. This damn thing. No. Alright, well, we're gonna see how the battle goes, because if I die, then we'll see how the combat how the death alternative works. God damn, this thing is impossible to kill. He just keeps freezing me. Okay. It looks to me like there is no death alternative in this list. I thought I read somewhere there was, but I guess there's not. That dude over there. That rat bastard. Are there wetness effects on this list? There is right here. Rain wetness, puddle wetness. Okay. What about wetness on the armor? I can't quite tell if there's any wetness on this guy. I don't think there is. I think that's just a natural shine to him, to his armor. I gotta find more weapons to use. Oh, one shot him. That's nice. That's a little ego boost right there. Just what I needed. I don't think I've ever noticed a statue of Talos right there before. Let's go check it out. Yeah, was this always here? Yeah, I take those wolves out so quick now. This guy's always just chilling right here. I never talked to him before though.
What do you need?
No dialogue. $27 FPS. It's pretty rough right here. I wonder, is this the spot I go up towards Winterhold? $25 FPS. Okay, I have a feeling, yep, it's vanilla Winterhold. Retextures perhaps, but for the most part it's vanilla layout.
And what? You think that'll solve all your problems?
It's so much smaller than the overhaul, isn't it? There's nothing wrong with vanilla Winterhold, by the way. I'm just saying it's an observation. It's much smaller than I'm used to.
Inside out and then exploded. What did you do?
It was a minor miscalculation. I've already corrected it for future.
Yeah, there's a good selection of NPCs overall. They all have unique
This is why
faces.
people
I
have
bet
a
you this one
problem
has a
with
unique
calling
face too.
Markarth.
Ranmir beg a drink from you yet?
Yeah.
Let's go
Let me know if you
wasted,
need anything,
friend.
or take a seat by the fire and I'll send
All
something.
right then.
What do you need?
Yeah, this guy too.
Until next
Oh,
time.
wait, do you got potions or anything? What you got?
Take a look.
Peter. Peter the orc. What you got? You got healing at least? It looks like there's some type of magic overhaul on this list too. I don't know this list. I don't know these moves or these spells. Arclight Sparks. It's good. Looks like it's a channeling spell though, so that's cool. How much I have? I have 501 gold. Okay. What should I buy? Alright, I think I'm gonna buy the Sparks because that looks like it's a channeling spell, which is cool. I think that might be maybe the replacement for the actual Spark spell. Let's try that.
Good day.
Okay. Oh, it looks like there's also a prayer in here, which means there's a religion system. Yeah, Talos. Okay. So, Blessing of Talos added. Now, I wonder if that's something that builds over time. I'm not sure. Okay, the spell does look different. Let's favorite it. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. I wonder if that's a replacement for the actual spark spell, or if there's still a spark spell in this game separate. Cool though. I'm glad we got that. I think it said like 8 damage per second too. So we're gonna throw the next level up point in destruction, so we can channel that longer. Okay. So we are gonna work our way toward this great city over here of Windhelm, home of the racist Nords. Oh yeah, that's powerful. That's good. We're getting stronger. Again, my FPS is sucking hard right now. Now, let's see. Say I was playing this list on my own, off camera. Let's see if I can make it a more enjoyable experience. Okay, so 42 FPS over here, even with that quality on. 45. It already feels much better though. 49. Now, if I go to balance, 55 FPS, 57. Visually, I mean, arguably, it looks pretty much the same. I don't see any clear blur or anything like that. Now again, I'm playing at 4K, so that gives you a lot of
I'd be a lot warmer and a lot
wiggle
happier
room.
with a belly full of
If you're
meat.
playing at 1080p and you're dropping it down, then you might see some blur. But at 50.59 or 0.59 of full resolution is essentially higher than 2K resolution still. Although, I mean, just a tad, but still. All right, we're getting around to where those jerk necromancers are. We gotta be careful. $39 FPS, 43 FPS, 45. Now this is with balanced on still. 50. So it is pretty demanding even with the upscaler.
I'm on a pilgrimage to the shrine of Azura, the goddess of twilight. If you'll excuse me.
All right.
I bet you guys can't tell that I left balanced on, right? Let's see how I do. Come on. Oh shit, you're level 27? I'm out of here. Your skeleton. Oh my god. Yeah, alt is the running, and R is drawing the weapon. But Alt R is also a hotkey for AMD's software, apparently, so I keep hitting it. Alright, we made it out of there alive. That's cool, I'm happy about that. We picked up a spell, which is good. It looks like this list uses Sigma animations for the spell casting. I like the vibe. Yeah, I definitely like the vibe of the art style that this list went for. Kind of like semi-realistic. This right here, this setting right here looks good. The colors, the brightness, everything, the tone of everything is just on point here. Ooh, that was pretty rough. Look, another statue of Talos. Now I'm starting to wonder, is that a mod? Or am I just starting to notice it on this run? Let's turn off balance, by the way. Or let's look at ultra performance, okay? It should look terrible. Yeah. And what's the trade-off, though? What's it giving us? 59 FPS? Although GPU usage is only at 90%, so something's holding back here. 85%. Okay, now it's 99. 95. Alright, so back to just anti-aliasing for FSR. 30 FPS.
To help the Stronghold.
Everything's fresh and delicious.
28 FPS. It is rough, man. It is rough with raw power, and I mean that has to be accounted for in the score. Just because, again, we play all the other lists with raw performance, and so it has to be taken into account. Because although the graphics look good on this list, I've played lists with really good graphics that had a higher FPS in these areas, in raw performance. So I think there's some areas that can be improved, I guess. I don't know what is gonna have to go into it to improve the performance in these areas, but if it can be looked at, it could be an area. Dude, you just got in the way of me opening the door. It could be an area of improvement. If you are looking for areas to tweak, at least, if you are making this list. This is an interesting... This is an interesting room here because the lighting looks a bit odd in here.
And what would you have? If he's not with us, he's against us.
Only the foolish or the courageous.
He looks good though. That's a very unique looking face for Ulfric.
He knows that. They all know that.
How long are you going to wait?
This guy looks cool. This guy's got... Look at his facial features.
If by message you mean shoving a sword through his gut.
Yeah, I think the NPC selection for this list was very on point. So, very good on that part. So far, it seems like the towns and cities, for the most part, are all just vanilla.
This is an ode to Skyrim's truest sons and daughters, the Stormcloaks. We bring to our youth, to the days come and gone, where the age of oppression is
This here's Candlehearth Hall. Great rooms upstairs.
So yeah, I think the
Bid for rent on the ground floor.
the interior lighting looked better on standard Nordic Souls. I don't know if it's an E and B limitation, not E and B limitation, but community shaders limitation, because what was it? Elder Teach had almost the same situation where the outside didn't look too bad, but the insides, the interiors had kind of rough or overly bright lighting everywhere. And Wanderer's Way seemed to have solved that. I'll have to go back and look at it, but I don't remember it being an issue there. I think there's room for collaboration too. Like, it doesn't need to be a competition in the modless scene. I think like if someone was able to pull off good interior lighting with community shaders, I think the two of those people should link up and maybe discuss the topic a little bit and see what can be done there. And performance wise too, because 21 FPS right now. I mean, yeah, it looks good, but I don't visually see why it's that low. All right, we're going to Riften. Let's head there. We got 31 minutes left. FPS, 20 FPS. Maybe it's the ray tracing, right? Didn't it say in that setting that I was messing with? Screen space ray tracing. I don't play enough with lists with community shaders to know if this has always been there for most of the lists I've reviewed or if this is something added. But I do know, again, when I added that here, that caused the FPS to drop quite a bit. But look, I mean, even though I took it off, we're still getting under 30 FPS here. Maybe it's the grass lods? I don't know. But we can look back, if you really want to see, we can look back at all the reviews I've done and compare this area's performance. I think some of the reviews, this area was heavier on as well. Oh, the rain's coming through too. But this is probably the roughest FPS I've ever seen in a review copy, or in a review of a list, in this area at least, or in general actually. It's been steadily like in the mid to low 30s and high 20s, with just FSR AA on. Is that giant fighting a mammoth? No way, right? Okay, he's not. $22. I can't see upscaling saving this too much. Let's try. Let's go to quality first and see what happens. Okay. 40 FPS, not bad. 38. I think the notion is that community shaders is a lighter graphical option than EMB. But I think if you're looking at raw performance, it can actually be more demanding because there's so many options that community shaders has that can start to tax your system more. Which is, it's great that it has upscaling options, but I've seen EMB lists look really good, like in these areas, like comparable or better with better FPS in raw performance especially. So I don't know what's going on here. I don't see our guy getting that wet either. Yeah, like I don't see his armor getting wet from all that rain. That guy, did he kill them? Look at that wolf head floating. No wonder he was glowing. He must have been using some spells or something to fight those wolves. There's no doubt the visuals are really good on this list. I would say in the world of community shaders, these are probably top tier visuals. But damn, it's really taxing on your system for it. Still hanging out in the 23 FPS range. I don't think I've ever reviewed a list where I hung out on 20 FPS in the low 20s before. Even with like a novice, for example. Thank goodness for upscalers, but even now, I'm still getting 32 FPS with an upscaler on. And that's on balanced. 37. 37's never felt so smooth when you just came from 21. So, those of you who are actually rocking 37 FPS, you should be grateful it's not 21. Yeah, so if you get this list, you have similar hardware, similar resolution you're playing at, I would lean heavy into the upscaling, and I would possibly have to lean into frame gen as well. I think I might have just saved, but I'm gonna save again. We'll see if these guys are high level or not. If not, if they are, we're gonna die, or we're gonna try and run away. Let's see how we do. Oh, level 1. Perfect. That's the thing about quick loot, is the game doesn't pause when you're looting. I never realized it, but yeah, that's the case. Usually I got so used to playing without quick loot lately that when I'm looting, I don't have to worry about getting hit. Let's see here. Okay, bad time to do that. I did nothing to that guy. Oh shit. I'm out. I'm outnumbered. Come on. Oh my god. Damn, I almost... Oh, I almost had them. That was a very sloppy fight though. But I almost had them. Alright, well. We can't do that again. We're just gonna breeze right through here.
You there? Are you looking for a fight? That can be arranged.
Oh, this guy's coming out. Alright, well, I can take his gear if he wants to fight me. I can do a one-on-one. Come on, man. Let's do this. All right, let's try mace combat, and let's check out his. Does he have any different kind of armor? He has a iron helmet and a cape. Okay, hey, it looks pretty good. My guy looks cool. He looks like a hero. Superhero. Not a big fan of the way things clip through capes in this game, but I guess it can't be helped. There's so many variations of things, right? And I guess you could move the shield back a little bit with the settings. Let's look at the horses. Yeah, a little pixelated on the horses. From what I understand, though, there's not a lot of options right now for PBR friendly horses. So you lose stamina swimming in this. There's got to be a mod for that, because I don't recall swimming costing stamina. Sorry about that, buddy.
Welcome. Allow me to recommend the Blackbriar Mead, the purest brew in all of Skyrim.
Alright, so 14 minutes and 30 seconds left. You might be able to run most of the way to Whiterun. Let's see.
Protect yourself right. Buy armor from the well.
Make love like a saber cat, or crush your enemies to dust like a giant.
We'll take a look at Misspell Keep as usual. And then maybe the inn, and then we'll head out. Okay, the lighting in here actually doesn't look that bad. This actually looks pretty good. Some dark spots in the back there. Obvious like sunlight coming through, and it hits the person when they get in the way there, like that.
The Imperialists think us all lawless beasts.
Welcome to Riften, traveler. I hope the road fared well. Welcome to Mistvale. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I think these NPCs are consistently good across the board. So I don't know about this guy's orange hair though. I think his hair isn't supposed to be that orange.
Did Harold send you to taunt me? To
Poke fun at the Jarl's youngest son?
Maybe, I guess.
I could feel you laughing behind my back.
Okay, maybe he's supposed to have orange hair. That's why he thinks I'm laughing at him.
I could feel you laughing behind my back.
Is that why you think I'm laughing at you? You know you have orange hair, huh? Interesting. "25 FPS, man. It is not bouncing back."
Rare trinket and the finest oddities from Morrowind.
If you've got the coin, you've come to the right place.
Yeah, this inside looks too bright.
I'm really getting tired of your excuses. When you borrowed the money, you said you'd pay it back on time and for double the usual fee.
I know, but how was I to know the shipment would get lost?
Next time.
I had another run.
Alright, we're gonna make a run for it. We're gonna make a run for... Damn, that's far. Whiterun. We're gonna cut through the forest here like we usually do. "21 FPS. Yeah, the performance is really rough on this list, guys. Scrub and Meteor, if you guys are watching this, I think you can agree with the footage. It's pretty rough. I mean, I don't know what you can do to adjust that, but I think if you can do anything to address it in a future update, I think it would go a long way. Because I think even though I'm playing on 4K, I think a lot of people who are playing this list, who aren't normally playing it in excess of 100 FPS, are probably feeling some kind of pain here in this area too, or in these areas. And actually, almost the whole entire map is experiencing this level of performance. So yeah, I don't know what you can do. Maybe it's the LODs you chose. Some settings you can tweak. It's not leaving the low 20s range. 21 FPS. Let's go to balance and see how we hold up. Okay, so balance puts us at 0.59, which is essentially 2K, guys. And 2K, I'm still getting 33 FPS over here. I mean, it's a pinch above 2K, but 33 FPS is pretty rough still. I think maybe if this is intentionally meant for higher performing systems, then I think we need to revisit the system requirements, recommended system requirements, and maybe beef that up a little bit from like 4070 to 4080 at 2K. And maybe even address 4K with a 5090. Because this 9070 XT is supposed to perform similar to a 5080 in a lot of raw performance ways. Now, it doesn't do well with ray tracing, so if that setting is in fact ray tracing, then I can see why this is not performing too well. Especially if you're using an NVIDIA system, and you're testing the list off yourself. You're testing the list yourself, then you're probably doing a lot better if all of this performance issue is coming from... I'm the alpha wolf now, sucker. Especially if all the performance issues are coming from the fact that there's ray tracing in your community shader setup. But honestly, I don't see the ray tracing.
Vacation is where the head is. That is
What?
what the venom told us about.
I don't see the ray tracing at play here. If it is, it's so subtle that it's not worth the trade-off. Alright, we gotta save some time here. Maybe I can shortcut it. Let's see if I can shortcut down this mountain here. Oh, that's a big drop. Alright, but if I can get to that bridge faster, that's gonna go a long way on getting me to Whiterun in time. Let's see. Can I do this without dying? Probably. Ooh, it's a rough one right here. Let's see. No, no, no. Okay. Oh my god, I almost died right there. Okay, we just shaved off like 5 minutes of running right there, guys. I'm pretty sure this is the original soundtrack for the game. Which is how I prefer. It's how I prefer it too. I don't like the modded soundtracks. Again, Skyrim for a lot of us means nostalgia, right? And so, a lot of the nostalgia comes from the things you hear, as well as the things you see. This is peak lighting right here. This is really good though. You see this lighting? With the sun really like coming down? What time of day is this? 4:11. This looks really good. the density of the forest too really sells you on the fact that you're in like a thick forest. Okay, sorry, I forgot we were on balance. Let's go back to native AA. Yeah, I don't see any wet armor effects. We have a minute left. We're almost to Whiterun though, so I think we're gonna make it to Whiterun today. And then we'll finish the video off there. I wouldn't worry so much about Riverwood because the way things are in this list, I'm pretty sure it looks vanilla. .24 FPS over here. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the rest of the map, I have to say, if I had to take a wild guess, the first time noticing, I don't know because he asked me to, the modless author asked me to change a setting in there, and that's why I noticed it now, but the fact that this had ray tracing makes a lot of sense if that's what's causing the performance issue. Alright, there's my timer. So as usual, right, we ask ourselves at the 2-hour mark, okay, are we going to return the game if it is a Steam game based on what we experienced, or are we going to keep it? And I think a lot of my answer most of the time just lies in the fact that it is Skyrim, and it's hard to say I'll return Skyrim because I like it. I like Skyrim a lot. I would get this game with the hope that there's future updates that'll address performance, because I like what this game has going for itself. I pretty much like everything about the list except the performance aspect of it. And I did like Nordic Souls a lot. Nordic Souls is one of my favorite lists out there. And this is basically a fork of it, so that a lot of that what I said probably lies in that alone. But I love the visuals of this list. The visuals of this list is probably, I would say, in the world of community shaders, as good as it gets. I think that the performance, if you can address the performance in a clever way that doesn't take away from the visuals, that would just be icing on the cake. Because right now, as it is, it's unplayable in raw performance. And it's still kind of rough, even with upscaling on. There's a nice like hue to the sky though. That's pretty nice. All right, let's wait till the next day. Hopefully the storm is gone before we approach Whiterun. Oh yeah, look at the morning too. That's really nice. I don't see them fighting the giant. Oh, the giant's dead already.
Well,
Oh, because I
that's taken
waited.
care of. No thanks to you.
Because I waited over there. That's probably why. Whoops. See, this focus is a little off. Weird. There we go. I focused. Okay, so that's a nice surprise. The water looks really good right here. So this is a overhauled Whiterun. Really well done, might I say. Whiterun's always been a showcase for a lot of overhauls.
Throw an order that size on my own. Why don't you swallow that stubborn pride of yours and ask Yorlin Greymane for help?
I'd sooner bend my knee to Ulfric Storm.
I like how green it is.
Besides, Greymane
I like the textures.
Have it yours. I'll take the job. But don't expect
NPCs look unique again, like I said. It stays consistent.
No offense, but you're not looking so good. You feeling good?
Excuse me. Farewell.
The water looks interesting here.
I know your family's honor is important to you, but we can't afford it.
I don't think it usually looks this good here.
To find that thieves' den. I can't stop now, and I can't get the sword on my own.
So you're willing to starve your wife and daughter to reclaim some rusty old sword?
I just need to hire one, maybe two good men.
Yeah, the way the water flows in, this is actually the best execution I've ever seen of waterfalls. Yeah, it looks really good. Wow. I wonder what the performance cost is of that, because that looks really nice. kind of want to go swimming in it. Looks so inviting. Okay, I don't know what's going on with the brightness in here. It's way too bright. Is it because it's morning? No, it's like noon. There we go. Oh wow, that's so much better. That's so much better. Okay. The lighting in here looks better than some other areas of the game. It could use darker corners, of course. You know, let's see how the night looks. The fire looks good. Alright. We're gonna be that guy right now, the orc sitting on the throne of Whiterun. Alright, so let's go ahead and wrap up the review. So, let's go down each of the 5 areas that we look at for these reviews. I want to preface it by saying that this is purely in my opinion, and that each person who worked on the list probably worked their butt off, and that things that I point out that are less than great are hopefully received as constructive criticism instead of just blatant trash talk, because I say what I say with as much respect as I can possible. So let's go ahead and get into it. So performance, I think performance is probably the weakest part about the list. That's not gonna get a very good score from me because it stood out as probably the worst performance I've had in the 22 or 21 mod list that I've reviewed. But it's good. Videos like this are good because you can see where your weak points are and you can find ways to improve it. Even if you improve it just a little, it makes the list that much better in my opinion. Combat is it respects vanilla in third person, and it kind of respects vanilla in first person. It isn't vanilla animations in first person, but I think it's an improved version of it. Whether I'm right or wrong about it being comprehensive first person animation overhaul, that could be the case, but it's good, and it doesn't kind of mix up like a stance system into all this that could sometimes cause things to be a little less what's the word I'm looking for, true to vanilla, I guess, because vanilla never had that. The UI is a good clean UI. If most of it fades out except for the compass, and also this is part of UI as well. I should say quick loot was implemented into this list without causing issues with the compass, which is a great thing to see. So being able to use quick loot again and not worry about the compass going missing was pretty cool. And so I would think the UI gets a good score. It's not, I don't think it's the best UI out there, but it complements the list well. I think visuals are about as good as it gets for community shaders. And I say that lately more so than before because community shaders has been more prominent in lists lately than EMB. It seems like EMB is slowly being phased out, which kind of saddens me because I feel like EMB still has a lot to offer for visuals against community shaders. Like arguably Apostasy, again, I hate to sound like I'm a fanboy for Apostasy, but Apostasy has like one of the best visuals, if not the best visuals I've seen in a Skyrim mod list, and it uses an EMB to achieve that. And as good as these lists look, it doesn't take the first place away from that list for me. So I think there's something to be said there about EMB still being viable. So hopefully they'll still keep making mod lists with that, at least as an option in the drop down for the MO2. Stability, it's got a 5 out of 5 for stability for me. It's a stable list. It hasn't crashed. It hasn't had any issues with anything that required me to restart the game. That being said, though, I should address the fact that I restarted the game because of the D menu situation, showing that D menu is a home button, but it doesn't trigger with the home button. So you also got like EMB community shader toggle written there as well. So I don't know exactly what. Maybe it's pulling. I don't think it's pulling from an old layout I had for hotkey reminders. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is your guys' hotkey reminders. So I think that it needs to be revisited, and I think maybe look into why D menu is not popping up and address that so that people can adjust their hotkeys or make adjustments to the community shaders. Not community shaders, but their wheeler. For example, my wheeler, I like to adjust like the time slowdown on it. The hotkeys I change up all the time, and so that's a huge downside for me that I can't access D menu for some reason. So something to look at there, but that doesn't affect stability. That's just a little thing that I think is worth mentioning if you're the list author and you are looking for things that can be tweaked or improved. As usual, you'll see the score for the review on the screen, and if you like this list, you can check out the links in the description. There's a Q&A section the mod list authors have given me answers for. There's some links to how to get the list for yourself to download. We also have a link for our Discord for Lorebound if you want to jump on there and provide feedback, or maybe petition a list that you haven't seen on this channel yet for review. Keep in mind that I will be taking a break for a while, like I've mentioned a few times before. But when I get back to it, I will be looking at information I received while I was taking a break as far as lists to review next. Whether it be on the Skyrim Marathon Redux or the regular Skyrim Marathon series if I'm doing it for the first time on a certain list. As usual, I appreciate you guys watching this channel, and I look forward to a new video in the near future, hopefully. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.